Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and unpack a truly fascinating, completely impromptu debate between a leading theoretical physicist and a major tech titan. We're looking at a recent panel discussion that smashed together two entirely different worlds to talk about the reality, the hype, and the ultimate trajectory of artificial general intelligence. It's a conversation that gets right to the heart of what superhuman technology actually means for all of us. Right off the bat, the panel drops this incredible observation. A joke that GDP per capita will technically go up during either utopia or extinction. I mean, it perfectly sets the massive, literally world-altering stakes of what we're analyzing today, right? It highlights a somewhat dark truth. Traditional metrics of success, like economic growth, might just keep ticking upwards regardless of whether AI leads us into a golden age or total disaster. It tells us we need to look a whole lot deeper than just the numbers.
So, that brings us to section 1. The AGI debate begins, a clash of perspectives.
What makes this so interesting is how we're looking at the collision of two very different but highly credible viewpoints. We're juxtaposing Sabrina Pasterski's ground-level academic rigor with Sergey Brin's macro-level industry optimism to see where the future of AI is truly heading. Pasterski is the celebrated theoretical physicist at the Perimeter Institute, focused on how AI accelerates physics, while Brin is, well, the legendary Google co-founder, who literally came out of retirement to steer their advanced AI efforts. Moving into section 2, academic caution versus fast progress. Who exactly owns the future? Before we get into the friction of who owns that future, it's absolutely crucial to understand the technology at the very center of this debate. We're talking about large language models, or LLMs. These are AI systems trained on vast amounts of data to understand, generate text, and actually simulate reasoning. Models like Google's Gemini are the exact systems disrupting traditional academic structures right now. They aren't just fancy calculators anymore, they're reasoning engines, and that changes everything about how knowledge is produced. This beautifully illustrates our core conflict. On one side, Pasterski fears the rapid deployment of these models could actually siphon academic funding. If all the academic data gets absorbed by tech companies to train their models, she worries grant money will just flow straight into big tech, leaving traditional researchers out in the cold. Conversely, Brin views these tools as the ultimate academic liberators. Looking back at his own academic days, he notes that LLMs offer immense freedom. They could completely remove the heavy administrative burden of managing and training graduate students, so you can just focus entirely on the ideas. Pasterski takes her caution a step further, though. She warns that if everyone prematurely believes AI has completely surpassed academics, say within the next 5 years, we face a massive societal risk. If the hype outpaces the reality, we might actually dismantle or devalue our educational systems before the technology can do the heavy lifting it promises. Imagine defunding universities because we think chatbots have it all covered, only to realize, hey, we still desperately need human researchers. She drowns this caution with a super relatable point about current AI tools. We hear all this buzz about vibe coding and AI assistants doing our work for us. But Pasterski bluntly points out that if you're really crappy at coding and you try to rely entirely on these language models, sometimes you don't get a finished product. You just get caught being dumb yourself. The models can totally expose our own lack of understanding rather than magically fixing it. All right, section 3, kings in our pockets, democratizing intelligence. To really grasp Brin's perspective on this democratization, we can look at the timeline of Google's evolution. He makes the case that advanced AI is just the next logical step in giving everyone equal footing. Google started with search, which was all about organizing the world's information. Then came communication, scaling access globally through Gmail and Android. And now, we're in the era of advanced AIs, deploying powerful reasoning tools to everyone. For Brin, this is just a continuous trajectory of empowerment. And the crucial point here is this number, under $100. Because Android phones are available all around the world for under $100, this immense AI power is no longer locked away in massive supercomputer labs for the elite. The hardware required to access these reasoning engines is globally distributed and incredibly cheap. That makes this cutting-edge technology accessible to almost everybody on Earth. Which brings us to Brin's ultimate point. He argues that having the world's best information, communication, and now reasoning abilities right in our pockets essentially makes us all royalty. It is the great equalizer. No matter where you are or what your background is, a cheap smartphone suddenly grants you access to an intellectual capability that kings of the past couldn't even dream of having. And there's actually an exciting synthesis here between our two debaters. Pasterski totally agrees that there's a massive upside if things go right. If you could essentially inherit an automated grad student that's already smarter than you and requires zero training, theorists can automate all that tedious foundational work. This allows them to skip the basics and jump straight into designing incredible, far more ambitious, high-level experiments. Let's jump to Section 4, AI as the ultimate teacher, learning on demand. Let's see how this incredible power translates into everyday life. To understand just how much the learning process has evolved, we have to look at how someone like Sergey Brin used to learn incredibly complex subjects. Take quantum field theory. It's a notoriously difficult framework combining classical field theory, special relativity, and quantum mechanics. Not exactly something you can pick up from a quick web search, right? Back in the day, when Brin wanted to learn quantum field theory, he literally had the renowned physicist Lenny Susskind physically show up to teach him. I mean, talk about immense coordination, scheduling, and formal time commitments. But today, the new way is entirely different. Brin notes that to learn something new now, like the Korean language for instance, he just converses with AI audio models like Gemini while he's driving his car. It is totally on demand. Brin freely admits that right now, AI might not be the absolute best teacher in the world compared to, say, a dedicated human expert sitting right in front of you. But from a purely practical standpoint, its 24/7 availability makes it unbeatable for his busy schedule. It's available exactly when convenient, it uses totally natural audio interactions, it's essentially free, and it completely eliminates the friction of scheduling. The convenience factor alone is absolutely revolutionizing how we absorb information. Which brings us to our final part, Section 5, the future of human experts. Where exactly do we fit in? The debate inevitably circled back to a critical tipping point. Right now, humans are actively teaching the models. We're checking their work and we're guiding their development. But the big question asked during the panel was, when do we cross over? When does AI transition from being a tool that we train into a superhuman entity that exclusively teaches us?
Interestingly, Brin's current approach to this relies heavily on human judgment. He notes that when he has a tough question today, he doesn't just blindly trust a single model like Gemini. He actively cross-references multiple models. Because different models take different training paths and process data differently, checking multiple sources ensures a vital diversity of thought. It proves that human curation and critical thinking are still very much required to get the absolute best results.
And despite the staggering, unprecedented speed of AI development, a speed he completely acknowledges would shock anyone who looked away for even a month, Brin confidently reassures the panel. He firmly believes that there's going to be a role for human experts for a long time. The models are powerful, sure, but that distinctly human ability to orchestrate, question, and apply this knowledge, that remains essential. But as the moderator pushed him on exactly how long human expertise will remain relevant before the machines truly take over the role of teacher and innovator entirely, Brin left the room with a slightly chilling, open-ended thought. How long? We'll see. It's a profound question to leave you with today. As we walk around with the power of kings in our pockets, what exactly will our role be when those pockets are smarter than we are? Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I'll leave you to ponder that exact question.